In the heart of rural America, far from the glittering cities and towering skylines, a small group of miners have uncovered a secret that's rewriting the rules of gold extraction. Here, surrounded by sugarcane plantations and long-forgotten dirt roads, 3 modified agricultural machines, originally designed to harvest crops, now carry out one of the most unusual and profitable mining operations in the country. These aren't massive mining rigs or deep earth drills. They're old sugarcane harvesters, rebuilt piece by piece, reprogrammed and reinforced to tear through the earth in search of something far more valuable than cane. Raw gold. It all began 5 years ago when a farmer named Ray Turner noticed unusual mineral streaks running through patches of disturbed soil on his property. Curious and skeptical, he sent a few samples to a lab in Texas, expecting nothing. What came back stunned him. The soil was laced with high concentrations of alluvial gold, soft, naturally occurring gold particles that had settled over centuries. But the terrain was too dense for traditional panning and too shallow for full-scale mining equipment. Ray needed a solution that was strong enough to break the top layers of compacted earth, but agile enough to move across uneven farmland. The answer? Sugarcane harvesters. The machines were already designed to uproot dense crops, process massive loads, and move continuously without stopping. Ray and 2 fellow locals, both with backgrounds in mechanical repair, got to work. They replaced the cane shredders with reinforced scooping blades, altered the engine torque for better pulling power, and fitted the rear of each harvester with large-scale separation drums designed to filter out sediment and capture gold particles on the move. The result was a Frankenstein hybrid, part agricultural workhorse, part mobile gold refinery. At sunrise, the team begins their operation. Each harvester is driven out onto a carefully mapped section of land. The earth is moist from overnight irrigation, making it ideal for the modified blades to slice through. As the machines churn through the ground, they leave behind a thick trail of uprooted dirt, which is funneled to the customized separation system. Water jets blast through the material inside, causing the heavier gold particles to sink and collect into a sealed basin at the rear. What looks like a trail of mud being stirred is in reality a controlled stream of filtered soil producing measurable gold every 30 meters. Each of the 3 machines processes an average of 2.3 tons of earth per hour. That may not seem impressive until you realize just how rich the soil is. This particular patch of land, roughly 18 acres, contains one of the densest known deposits of surface alluvial gold in North America. In a single 12-hour shift, these machines are extracting up to 7 tons of raw earth, producing over 19 pounds of filtered gold, the equivalent of more than $500,000 per day. Depending on market value, the miners operate in complete coordination. While one harvester moves forward, the other 2 follow a staggered pattern to ensure maximum soil coverage without overlap. Each operator monitors a live mineral density readout on a retrofitted digital panel, alerting them when the concentration drops below threshold. At that point, they shift routes with near-surgical precision. It's a dance of machines and dirt, run by men who've learned to listen to the hum of modified engines as if it were music. And it's all done without damaging the surrounding ecosystem. No chemicals, no large-scale blasting, no deforestation. But what's perhaps most shocking is that this entire operation runs without the backing of a major company. It's a self-funded, self-built system that relies entirely on ingenuity, trial and error, and the relentless will of people who refuse to accept that their land had no value. They work under local mineral extraction permits, staying within legal limits while maximizing every square foot of gold-rich terrain. The extracted material is weighed, verified, and shipped off weekly to a certified refinery in Nevada, where it's processed into investment-grade bullion. The locals used to laugh at the sight of sugarcane machines crawling slowly across barren-looking fields. They don't laugh anymore. Trucks now arrive twice a week to collect sealed containers filled with fine gold sediment, and the once-forgotten town is starting to show signs of quiet prosperity. New roofs, fresh paint, even a recently reopened school building funded by community profits. All of it made possible by 3 old machines and a bold idea. Every part of the harvester was chosen for a reason. The blades were sharpened with industrial plasma tools. The belts were replaced with heat-resistant Kevlar to withstand continuous friction. Even the wheels were swapped for reinforced rubber treads that grip wet earth like claws. The gold sediment, once captured, is stored in pressurized chambers where it remains untouched until end-of-day processing. Security is tight, though you'd never know it. No guards, no fences. Just a tight-knit crew that watches each other's backs and keeps the operation running with discipline bordering on obsession. This setup, however strange it might appear, is being studied quietly by mining engineers. Some believe this hybrid technique could revolutionize small-scale mining worldwide, especially in regions where heavy equipment is too expensive or invasive. By using modified agricultural machinery, miners can move with greater precision and lower cost, drastically reducing their environmental impact and setup time. It's a story of innovation born not in labs or boardrooms, but in open fields under the sun, by people who understand dirt better than any algorithm ever could. What sets this operation apart isn't just the volume of gold extracted or the unconventional machinery. It's the level of control and real-time optimization that goes into every meter of soil turned. Each of the 3 harvesters is equipped with a series of modified ground-penetrating sensors, originally developed for irrigation planning. These sensors now serve a radically different purpose, identifying subtle variations in mineral density within the top 2 feet of soil. As the harvester moves, it constantly adjusts its depth, blade angle, and processing speed based on this live data, ensuring that every pass targets only the richest segments of Earth. It's not brute force mining, it's calculated, adaptive extraction, disguised beneath layers of rust and repurposed farm tech to prevent material loss. Each harvester is trailed by a low-bed collector cart that captures overflow sediment and recycles it back through the separator unit. This ensures that no gold particles escape the system, even during high-speed passes. The dirt is churned, blasted, filtered, and pressed, all in a continuous loop that runs for hours without interruption. When the system detects that gold concentration has dropped below a preset level, a red beacon flashes atop the cab, signaling the operator to move to the next plot segment. The entire process is coordinated through walkie systems and a shared GPS grid. They map themselves using drones and handheld trackers. At the heart of the operation lies a makeshift processing station, a weatherproof canopy rigged with pipes, drums, and reinforced tanks. This is where the day's haul is refined. After each shift, the pressurized chambers from the harvesters are removed and hooked into the station's separator line. The gold-rich slurry is drained into vibration trays that slowly sift the sediment, isolating heavy metal deposits from organic matter and sand. As the gold concentrates settle, they're collected by hand using fine brushes and suction tubes, then transferred to magnetic pans where the final impurities are removed. The entire crew participates in this final phase, wearing gloves, goggles, and laser focus. Every speck of dust counts. Nothing is wasted. The final product, a collection of gold flakes and small nuggets, is then weighed using a digital precision scale bolted to the table. The average daily yield ranges from 7 to 11 kilograms, depending on soil saturation and machine performance. Once confirmed, the gold is vacuum sealed into industrial-grade bags and coated with a date, GPS coordinates, and machine ID for traceability. The bags are placed into a reinforced lockbox mounted inside a modified farm truck, which departs the next morning under escort toward the Nevada refinery. There are no armored vehicles, no security firms involved, just trust, timing, and discretion. The team operates on a strict rotation. While 3 crew members manage the machines, 2 others handle logistics, calibration, and oversight. Shifts are long but flexible, and no one works more than 5 consecutive days. Their philosophy is clear: sustainability, not burnout. Everyone on this site has a defined role, and despite the rustic setup, there's a military-like rhythm to the operation. Tools are cleaned at the end of every shift. Sensors are recalibrated nightly. Engines are inspected down to the last bolt. Even the soil maps are updated weekly, with color-coded overlays showing where concentrations are rising or falling over time. It's part science, part instinct, and it works. Occasionally, they strike a vein richer than expected. When that happens, the mood shifts. Radios go quiet. The machines slow down. The crew circles the area and begins extracting with greater care, sometimes even shutting down a harvester and digging by hand to prevent damage to the gold formation. In one such case, a 6-meter stretch of earth produced over 4.5 kilograms of pure gold in a single morning. Moments like these are rare but unforgettable. The men don't cheer, they don't celebrate. They just nod, exchange a glance, and return to work, understanding full well that luck favors preparation, not noise. None of this would be possible without the old sugarcane harvesters, relics salvaged from equipment yards and auctions, stripped down to frames and reborn with purpose. Their engines may groan, their panels may rattle, but these machines are the beating heart of a system that now rivals small-scale industrial mines. Each harvester is named too: Martha, Beast, and Delta, names stenciled in chipped paint on their sides, like old warhorses carrying gold instead of soldiers. They've survived floods, mechanical failures, broken axles, and engine fires. But they still roll out each morning, engines rumbling, chasing the next rich vein that lies just a few inches below the surface. And yet, no matter how much gold they extract, the crew remains grounded. There are no millionaires here, just workers who took forgotten machines, forgotten land, and turned them into something remarkable. They're not after fame. They don't post videos. They don't welcome journalists. The only thing they care about is the hum of metal, the color of the soil, and the steady rhythm of extraction. For them, it's not just about gold. It's about proving that resourcefulness and grit can outshine even the most sophisticated. Mining corporations dot the story behind this operation runs deeper than gold. It's a blueprint of reinvention, of rural survival reshaped through mechanical brilliance and an almost obsessive relationship with the land. Ray Turner, the farmer who started it all, never planned to become a miner. He once grew sugarcane and corn, balancing bills and droughts, barely making enough to pay the workers who helped him keep the fields alive. When commodity prices tanked and the soil turned uncooperative for crops, most farmers sold their land or left. But Ray stayed. He believed there had to be more beneath his feet, and not just metaphorically. What he uncovered wasn't just mineral wealth, but a method that now supports over 40 people, including mechanics, welders, soil analysts, and transport drivers, all employed full-time by what he calls the harvest beneath. Ray's story isn't an isolated miracle. Across neighboring counties, other farmers have started paying attention. Some arrive with old equipment and questions. Others bring soil samples and leave with ideas. But very few understand the scale of what's required to make it work. The harvesters break down frequently. Spare parts must be fabricated from scratch. The gold yield, while steady, depends on rain patterns, soil displacement, and even irrigation runoff. It's a daily equation of moving parts, intuition, and sweat. And it only works because this crew knows every gear, every tremor in the ground, every warning sound in a belt or bearing. And still, they never expanded. There were offers. 2. Major mining companies sent representatives hoping to buy the machinery or license the modified designs. One even offered $3.2 million for the full operation, land included. Ray refused. For him, selling the land would be like selling the soul of what they built. It's not just about gold, but about having something that's truly theirs. A system no one taught them, no investor owns, and no blueprint can fully explain. The machines may be rusty and improvised, but they're living proof that innovation doesn't only come from tech hubs or glass towers. Sometimes it comes from fields of dust and the hands of people who never stopped believing in what was under them all along. The ripple effects have reached the community. Roads that were once full of potholes have been repaved, funded quietly by the cooperative's earnings. A local welding school was reactivated with donated tools and real mining parts for students to train on. Even the general store now stocks specialized hardware components rarely found outside of industrial hubs, all because mechanics in town requested better gear to service their homemade rigs. Without ever seeking recognition, the project has revived an entire microeconomy, giving purpose back to places long dismissed as lost to modernity. Despite this success, there's no illusion of permanence. They know the gold won't last forever. They monitor output like scientists, plotting graphs and tracking fluctuations over months. When yield dips below sustainable levels, they'll move to new plots or stop altogether. But they're not afraid of that day, because what they've learned can't be unlearned. The machines can be repurposed again. The tools, the knowledge, the muscle memory, all transferable. If the gold disappears, they'll adapt again. Maybe it'll be copper, maybe clay extraction, or something no one has thought of yet. The mindset they've built is far more valuable than the metal they extract. The deeper truth behind these harvesters lies not in their mechanics, but in their message. That forgotten land isn't always empty. That machines built for one thing can serve another. That small teams can outperform massive corporations when the stakes are personal and the knowledge is lived, not taught. And that resilience isn't a trait, it's a decision made daily by people like Ray and his crew, who chose to look down at dry soil and see not failure, but opportunity. Their work continues, one pass at a time. The sound of rotating drums and grinding metal echoes across the flat fields. The gold sediment trickles into collection trays like rain from a cloudless sky. The men, sunburned and covered in dust, move between machines with calm precision. They don't need cameras or praise. They have the weight of something real in their hands. Not just gold, but proof that even in forgotten corners of the world, there are still stories being written with grit, gears, and gold-stained hands. And for those watching from afar, wondering how 3 sugarcane harvesters can possibly transport 7 tons of gold in a month, the answer is simple: with vision, determination, and an unshakable belief that sometimes the best tools for the future are already rusting in the past. So if you've made it this far into the story, consider joining others who believe in these kinds of discoveries. Subscribe to the channel, not just for the gold, but for the people and machines that turn impossible into routine, one unlikely harvest at a time.